I go home, people ask me, hey, Hoot, why do you do it, man? Why? Some kind of war junkie? I won't say a goddamn word. Why? They won't understand. They won't understand why we do it. They won't understand it's about the men next to you. And that's it. That's all it is.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, #1 listener-supported radio, the printing press for freedom at a time when freedom is needed the most.
Going on here? I demand an explanation.
We work for a highly funded yet unofficial government agency.
An intelligence organization that fears intelligence, historically not awesome.
The United States is a democratic nation. Here the people rule. We build no walls to keep them in, nor organize any system of police to keep them mute.
Freedom isn't free at all. But it comes with the highest of costs.
We have you, the listeners, and the hosts at
Revolution Radio.
for allowing us to bring you a platform of free speech.
Right now, it's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines,
clock's run out. Time's up.
Wind is blowing cold and dark on the road and no way out. Broken house, the smoking gun. On the run. On the run.
Walk into this room at your own risk, because it leads to the future. Not a future that will be, but one that might be. This is not a new world. It is simply an extension of what began in the old one. It has patterned itself after every dictator who has ever planted the ripping imprint of a boot on the pages of history since the beginning of time. It has refinements, technological advances, and a more sophisticated approach to the destruction of human freedom. But like every one of the superstates that preceded it, it has one iron rule. Logic is an enemy and truth is a menace. This is Mr. Romney Wordsworth. In his last...
We're hot.
Rubber little lady, slicker than a weasel, grimy as a hell, it looks like the lover.
from the broken down, low rent, sleazy, double greasy pirate radio Nut Hut Studios, it's time for the very first ever Southern.
It's Friday night. Mine's Jimmy. You found it. Into the Microcosm is on the app. We got a good one planned for you tonight. Yeah.
I am here.
Excellent.
I'm feeling an awful lot like Forrest Gump in that I want to go home now moment. And I've been traveling all over the place.
Wow. Damn. So
where am I down?
Did you come back to the mainland?
No, there's been inter-island, going between islands, island hopping for work.
Inter-island travel?
Yeah, well, it's just funny. You don't think it's going to get to you, but it does, man. A lot of airlines wait and stop and go and get postponed, like any kind of travel.
Eventually, no, I know.
Well, tired.
Now, did you get your smart ID? Because pretty soon you're going to need it to get island to
next
island.
Month, yeah, right? It's May something. No, I haven't. It's not. I thought it was on my Hawaii ID card. It's not.
Well, just
I have my passport, but
man, maybe you just get this. They'll just eliminate all the bullshit and just scan your eyeball.
Just take my eyeball.
That's it.
Just give me the artificial one. It's like you got to hawk your eyeball, and then you get it back. At the end of the year. If as long as you don't violate any rules or something, to give it back to you, right? You have like the artificial eye that monitors you while you're on probation, and you get your eye back.
You get your eye back. Well, I got some good audio. People are gonna be blown away by some of this audio that I have tonight, and I have some tweets and some Twitter shit going on also. But I don't want to leave Rock and Rio hanging in the green room too long because it was 420 in there a minute ago, and I don't want them to fall asleep on us over there. So let me engage Mr. Cool. Man, that makes me want to get a drum kit, Rock and Rio. You got a spare drum kit in the garage I could borrow? Rock and Rio.
Yeah, I don't have any drum kits.
No.
It's one instrument I've tended to avoid for. I mean, I can hold a beat, but
don't you ever just want to sit there and just sweat and beat on drums? You know what I mean? Just put it your.
Well, you think about it. Drummers are so sophisticated that they're just guys who hit things at sticks for a living.
I know that was the thing in all my endeavors in music. The drummer was always the issue for some reason. Always.
And they're always late.
Yeah.
Right. Every drummer shows up for the gig late. Shows up for last minute. I don't know. It's weird. They're the ones who's supposed to keep time, but they're never on time.
That's funny.
It's because they're primal, man. Drummers are primal. That's their thing. It is. That's why chicks dig the drummers, man.
They're animals. They're animals.
Yeah, it's true.
There's
just like the Muppet, right? Animal.
Yeah.
There's
it is. They did good on that, right? They nailed it.
Yeah, there's something to be said, though. If you just had, a set of bongos or just a congo and you're sitting there on the beach or whatever, just playing a rhythm to yourself, because there is, there's magic in the rhythm, and that's for sure. But I mean, as far as drummers and bands, though, I just got to say, it was always an issue with the drummer. I had some good drummers, though. I had probably one of the best drummers in the world. Seriously. I'm not even kidding. We played a gig with Motley Crue, and Tommy Lee came up to our drummer after he was done and told him he was a badass.
That's cool.
He had a pink drum kit. His name was Jeff Greenback, and he did some time, and he used to sit there in his cell. He had a set of sticks. He would sit there in his cell and do rudiments.
I'm sure his cellmates loved him.
He was an ass kicker, man. You just want to fuck with Jeff. He'd snap your neck.
You're sitting there trying to ponder your life and your what you did, and all you hear is for hours and hours on end.
Exactly.
The warden probably loved it because it drove everybody else insane.
It drives people insane. No, but there is something to that. We've talked about Gurdjieff, and the fourth way, and we've talked about time, space, and the rhythmic dancing, and disrupting the time-space continuum,
Well, I've always looked at drummers in the band as the necessary evil.
Well, I bet you were...
And you can take that with the double entendre that it comes with.
Now, were you stoked when they came out with these drum machines where they just drums play themselves? You don't even need a drummer anymore? Actually, you don't even really need a band anymore. You don't even really need to have a creative thought because you can just go,
Just tell AI what you want.
Yeah, say something into the microphone and that's the end. Buddy Rich, exactly. Boom, boom. Seriously, Buddy Rich. Now listen, I heard...
All right, so he's a real drummer.
Yeah, well, like Nick Mason or Neil Peart or there's cerebral drummers. Don't get me wrong, Phil Collins, whatever. These are cerebral drummers, right? And in the case of Ringo Starr, I mean, he really was the star of his band before, no pun intended, before he was recruited by the Beatles, right?
I gotta say,
so I mean,
I always had a disliking for Ringo, but I mean, after all was said and done, it looks like he turned out to be the smartest dude.
Yeah, he does, right?
He laid back, he stayed out of the fray.
Married Barbara Bach, hung out, yeah. Exactly.
He's like, hey, whatever you want to do, I'm good, huh, Rio? He's like, hey, well, that's Paul? Okay, no worries.
You know it ain't easy.
That's the new Paul? Oh, that's all right.
Hey, whatever. There's a funny bit with Bill Hicks, and they're talking about writing the Yellow Submarine and saying this John is talking. He's like, get Ringo's floating up by the ceiling, bring him down. I'm just trying to get a rake. Hey, so listen, if you're listening on TalkStream Live or Revolution Radio or FreeWorld.fm or the Independent Broadcast Network or Ground Zero Plus later on, I'm going to play a video, and it's not going to do you any good if you don't see it, but I'll describe it before I play it, and then I'm going to play it for the people over on YouTube. So if you want to see it, come over to Into the Microcosm with Jimmy Jean on YouTube and check it out. So I don't know if you guys have seen these. Now, I sent them to you, and I don't know if you watched them. But they're making these, since this tariff situation has started, there's been a meme campaign coming out of China. And they're basically these AI-generated meme videos that are super short, taking a shot at making America great again. And it's super, it's hard hitting in the, and like, if you see it, and do you guys have a chance to watch it?
I haven't seen it yet. It sounds like you're talking about Blipverts from Max Headroom, right?
It could be, yeah. Well, listen, in the meantime, while I'm talking about it, go click on some of those links I sent you, because in there's a video. And I want you to watch it because, and Rio, did you watch that video?
No.
Okay, you guys didn't watch the videos. Well, watch the video yourselves while I'm playing it on YouTube, and I'll describe it to the audience. Now, it basically shows Americans making America great again and showing us all the great jobs we're going to have when the manufacturing comes back. And I don't know if you've ever gone and looked at any of the kind of companies over in China and like what they do and, you know, what it looks like, what people are doing. But, you know, so these videos, I have to say, it's one of the most sarcastic videos I've ever seen, and it's really going to make Americans think again when you watch this video and ask yourself, who exactly is that's going to go work these so-called manufacturing jobs? Like, where's the workers? Because seriously, when you see this video and what the kind of work it is, and you see yourself and you look at the landscape around us, and we see these, you know, younger folks, you know, 30 and under. Are they going to be working at these jobs on these sewing machines and, you know, putting iPhones together? I mean, where's the workforce going to come from? I think we're going to have to sell this American dream idea to a whole new group of suckers and have them come in here, because I don't think people are going to jump for these jobs. And that's my personal opinion. But, you know, who am I? Some dude on a radio show. So what is it? I don't know. But here, let's. I'm gonna run this, and there'll be music. So if you're not watching it, it'll be okay. Here we go. Oh man, it's too much. There's a dude shoving some McDonald's French fries in his mouth while he's sitting on a sewing machine. And there's another guy who's working at a Tesla factory he's got a drill in his hand. And there's a bunch of dudes assembling a Tesla, and there's
and notice they're all 400 pounds, right?
Exactly.
Like that's the meme of America.
Yeah,
you know, fat and unhealthy.
Exactly.
Fat bastard. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, look at Americans. Yeah, these guys are going to sit there and do.
Of course, you know, in China, it's like, oh, look how fit we are, all skinny and starving to death. So.
Yeah, well, speaking.
Yeah, don't have any food, right? Exactly.
Yeah, well, speaking of starving to death, I'll tell you right now, and we could probably get into it a little bit later, but there's a whole thing about the population of China right now, and I don't know if you guys seen any of these videos, but there's empty Chinas. The China is empty for some reason. It looks like there's no people anywhere, there's no traffic, no retail going on. There's a whole bunch of shit going on. It's been going, you know, this thing has been talked about for about a month now.
China's lost like 500 million people or something. Right?
That's what they're saying. Now, immediately when I heard this, and I went and watched a bunch of these videos, and I saw these empty towns, and obviously everyone remembers these ghost cities that they had back in the day, and everybody would have this supposition about, oh, you know, it's because that's where all the people are going to live when, you know, something happens or whatever it was. Even we talked about it. But we were saying that
for the Belt and Road Initiative, that they were building them for the workers to maintain the highways. Right?
That's what we were saying. Instead, in the old days, they used to make a road, and cities would develop around the road. But we were saying, they're building a new Silk Road. They're building the cities first. They'll build the roads to it, and then the people that build the roads will live in the cities. So. But it turned out that really what it was there was some real estate investments that people in China were making with the money they were making. And so you would buy these apartments, and so they would pre-sell these apartments. So these buildings that were sitting there vacant were actually investments that people had in the population. And that was how you...
Out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. So, but anyway, they would just build these so people could invest in them, but they had really no intention of people living in these cities or whatever. So, but anyways, they're tearing these cities down now, and maybe I'm not real sure because there was a psyop with these videos when the Michelle Pfeiffer incident was happening, and so I mean, there was videos coming out of China where we were searching, for example, we would you couldn't really find videos from China, so what we do is we use the translator, and then we put it in Chinese, and then Mandarin. I don't remember what it was, but anyways, we put it in, and we started seeing videos, and the video started making it out. And Dr. Rowe was doing it, and I was doing it too, and then eventually they started, to circulate, and it caused people to think a certain thing. But if you remember back to the Michelle Pfeiffer incident, there was so much smoke coming out of of China that people were saying, well, this is these were incinerators, and and we know what happened, obviously. So where's all the people? That's a question.
They're on Mars, man. They're building that Mars colony. You got me thinking, actually. Remember when those cities were first being built and it made all the news that was going on? It was on YouTube and everything else, and people were watching it. Around that same time, there were these sightings in China, specifically of these sky cities. You recall these photographic cities, and the whole populations of cities would see these things. They had the videos of them, but people were describing it. All kinds. It was real. It really happened, right? People saw these, whatever they were, these cities in the sky. What if that image of the city in the sky was just like a way of advertising to get people to invest in these cities? Like at a subconscious level.
That's
right?
Interesting. Yeah, I can see your point.
Because they disappeared about the same time the cities got built, right? And now the cities are disappearing.
Well, so here's the thing. China, what do you need? What does China need all those people for? They need them to
making iPhones.
They need, yeah, exactly. They need them to drive the economy because, they got to have people to do the work in order to ship the products. Okay, what now all of a sudden with robotics, maybe China's thinking to themselves, they're like, hey, Bob, what the F do we need all these people for? Let's get rid of some of these people. We don't need them. When you get fired in China, though, you go down, you take a dirt nap. That's the thing. that's the harsh.
True.
Yeah, that's the harsh reality of living in certain places in the world. Well, listen, this clip here. This clip is literally what you're about to hear. It's probably going to blow your mind because I know when I heard it, I heard a little blip of this and I had to go find the whole video just so I could get the context. Now, we played a blip of this about good citizens at one point, but I didn't see the entire video. This is a 4-minute and 39-second video, and I'm going to play the whole thing. It's in the microcosm. It's Revolution Radio. It's freeworld.fm. It's the independent broadcast network.
We think we can absolutely lock down schools so that dramatically reduce the case of anyone being on campus that doesn't belong on campus, and immediately alert, second someone pulls out a gun, immediately alert, use AI cameras to immediately recognize that. But we keep everyone off campus that doesn't belong on campus. The police, another thing, body cameras. We completely redesigned body cameras. Our body cameras cost $70. Normal body camera costs, I don't know, $7,000. Our body cameras are simply lenses, two lenses attached to your vest, attached to the smartphone that you're wearing. And we actually take the video that the police officer is, by the way, and the camera's always on. You don't turn it on and off. And by the way, the way you turn it on you can't turn it on. I'm going to the bathroom. Oracle, I need 2 minutes to take a bathroom break, and we'll turn it off. The truth is, we don't really turn it off. What we do is we record it so no one can see it, but no one can get into that recording without a court order. So you get the privacy you requested, but a court order, if you get a court order, we will, judge, can order, I want to look at that, this so-called bathroom break. If there's something comes up, and plus I'm going to lunch with my friends. Oracle, I need an hour for privacy with lunch with my friends. God bless. We won't listen in unless there's a court order. But it's interesting. But we transmit the video back to headquarters. So headquarters and AI is constantly monitoring the video. Remember this terrible case in Memphis where the 5 police officers basically beat to death a citizen in Memphis? Well, that can't happen because it would be on TV at headquarters. Everyone would see it. Your body cams will be transmitting that. The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on. And it's unimpeachable. The cars have cameras on them. I think we have a squad car here someplace. But those kind of applications using AI, if we can use AI, and we're using AI to monitor the video. So if that altercation that occurred in Memphis, the chief of police would be immediately notified. AI just looked at the camera. No, you can't do this. It would be like a shooting. That's going to be an event that's immediately, an alarm's going to go off. It's going to be, and we're going to have supervision. In other words, every
I've asked,
police
are we
officer
happy?
will be supervised.
Are we happy and effective? Consultation with leading experts in the field makes it perfectly clear that we are all now programmed for perfect happiness, perfect happiness, perfect happiness, perfect happiness.
It's into the microcosm. Man, hey, if you want to take a bathroom break, go ahead. But yeah, we'll tell you we turned it off, but really we didn't turn it off though. We just tell. But a judge has to give us a court order. No shit. I mean, obviously, isn't that what goes on in Utah? Hasn't that what's been going on in Utah? Epic Journeyman, Rock of Rio. I mean, the thing is everything keystroke, everything you do on the internet, everything you say, so on and so forth, goes to this facility up in Utah, and that's the whole thing with these warrants that they can get. Is they say, okay, well, here's a a subject. We'd like to take a look at this person of interest. We get a warrant, and then we can extract every single bit of your internet life immediately, including and up to now with this Amazon taking away your ability to stop recording to the cloud from the device. Who the hell knows what the hell's going on inside of your file, Epic Journeyman. So
as long as you're not saying bad things and doing bad things within earshot of your phone or anybody else's, for that matter, then they don't have evidence, right? But how often are you more than 20 feet from some source of recording?
Every single connection to anything on the internet is stored in Sandy, Utah, in the biggest data center on the planet. Yeah. Yep. Every single one. Doesn't matter. So I mean, that's the thing. Like, people maybe don't understand, like, and maybe they need to. Every single mouse click, every single connection, everything you do, period. It doesn't matter if it's like on a phone. It uses a wireless calling, or cellular phone is, by the way, people get this, cellular phone, you don't need a warrant to observe. I mean, it's not protected that way. You don't need a FISA warrant to monitor cellular communications. It's completely unsecure. But your phone, you do need a FISA warrant, right? Well, used to. I don't know about now. but as far as the internet goes, everything that uses the internet, every single connection, every single one, and ultimately your phone goes through there too, right? Even your personal wired phone at some point goes through some data center somewhere. That's what those big windowless buildings in every city are, like the one that got blown up in Nashville on Christmas Day a couple years ago, right? It's exactly what it was. It was a data center building from AT&T that was linked to the NSA and CIA. It's exactly what it was, right? Mm-hmm. And that guy did it on purpose because he was trying to do that. But I also thought in that particular case, it might have been, trying to make a heist, but we'll never know, because that guy is not allowed to talk about it, supposedly. But no. Sandy, Utah, yeah, no doubt about it. That is like, if you imagine the movie like Forbidden Planet, where you get the subterranean giant, vault of all these reactors and everything underground going across, practically the Earth's core, or the core of the planet in that case. That's what we're talking about in Sandy, Utah. This thing is huge, right? Every single the Five Eyes communications, everything that goes on the internet, period, goes through there.
So in telecom, what you do is you have this thing, and you have what's called the MDF, which is a main distribution facility, and then you go out and you send it out to these smaller IDF facilities that have equipment in them, and it's sort of a bridge to make things work between your desktop and the network and going out into the world, right? So imagine what they're doing is they're taking that Utah situation, and then they're making some independent data centers that they're talking about with the Stargate project, and then those will be connected directly to that Sandy, Utah thing, and they'll be intermediary facilities that deal with the 15-minute city that you're in. And this dude is saying that you're, going to be a good citizen. So, I don't know. Looking at it, the future looks like these guys are feeling like they're writing it. Now, Epic Journeyman, you were saying that because, you've been traveling around, you said island to island, this and that. And so obviously last week you found this book, and it seems like this whole group of dudes, all these guys that came out of the Bay Area with these special companies that we're seeing now here, about to, be in a position to create the infrastructure for the new world order, with a quickness. And so, but you're reading this book, and so it looks like these guys have been hanging out together for quite a while. And, whether they're, having battles between each other publicly or whatever, they're buddies or whatever. But so tell people about the book, and then relay a little bit what you were telling me, because I think it's really interesting in the sense of the storyline of the dark transition into the dark enlightenment with this dark MAGA team. Go ahead, let us have it, man.
It's pretty amazing, because it's what we all kind of thought even we were the nerds ourselves. This is the Revenge of the Nerds in a way, where these were all kids playing Dungeons and Dragons and stuff together back in South Africa, and then it moved to the Bay Area in the case of Musk and Thiel. And these are people who were, eventually linked through Stanford University is where they all cross paths, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of them didn't take the PhD program in the case of Sergey Brin and Larry Page and Elon Musk, but Peter Thiel did. And the thing is, they're all linked by this philosophy outline. It's not a philosophy. Well, the philosophy we'll get to in a minute. I talked about it a little bit last week, but there's another one that Thiel in particular is involved with called mimesis, which is really interesting because he met the guy who founded that philosophy at Stanford. And we'll talk about that later in the show. But it's not about memetics. Mimesis is something different. But so we'll address it later. But the thing is, the novel is called Star Crash. And Star Crash, I've heard people tell me, yeah, I got to check out this book, man. It's right what you're talking about. And I'm like, of course, like everybody else, you're like, well, I'll get to it, Turns out, yeah, absolutely. That is exactly what it is. Except that in the case of the novel Star Crash, it's about a hacker, right, who is a pizza delivery guy in the modern post-techno cyberpunk world, who's also a hacker in the metaverse, right? Mm-hmm. And has his own domain in the metaverse, right? And all these terms like the metaverse and stuff were kind of pioneered here. And the pizza delivery guy thing, like it's a big deal to be a pizza delivery guy because you have all these, the world has been partitioned into these oligarch-controlled, it's not like a regular government anymore, right? It's like a feudalistic, techno-feudalistic world where, the Cosa Nostra has Cosa Nostra Pizza, right? They deliver secure food and pizzas in particular to these to these oligarchs, right? In their gated communities, essentially, with their own personal security forces, kind of like Blackwater, right? Each one has,
yeah,
and yeah. So it's very much like a return to the days of old, where you had feudalistic society, where you had the dukes and that had their property, and you had it was given by the king and partitioned off. Except that what these people saw when they read this book was this technocratic way of saying, you know what, I want to be that guy. I want to be that person controlling that section of land, right? To be a ruler personally outside of what we call government today. And that's what they're doing. So by destroying government, what they're actually trying to do is take control and make these individually controlled
these little kingdoms.
Kingdoms, yeah, little fiefdoms, right?
Exactly.
But all linked through technological means, where absolute personal monitoring of every single transaction is what keeps them safe, right? So, like in the case of the pizza, it sounds ridiculous, right? But it kind of is until you understand why. Like the whole idea is that food is that pizza is monitored from the second it's made, right, to the time it's delivered, and along the transit all the way, because it's biometrically and electronically and everything tracked to the time it's made, the person who delivers it, the route it's taking until it gets to the gated community or these little fiefdoms. Call them fiefdoms, not what they call them there, that are controlled by these different corporate entities who are the rulers of those New World Order cities, if you will. Not cities are just like the whole country is partitioned up that way. The whole world's partitioned up that way. So it becomes the most adept thing you can be is, and profitable thing you can be. Maybe rephrase it. The most profitable thing you can do is be adept at that kind of transaction.
Now, all of a sudden,
right?
I'm starting to remember something we talked about a while back now. Wasn't there something where they were going to sell public lands in some way? They were going to allow people. It had something to do with BlackRock. I remember vaguely now. I'm just remembering this because there was something where, because it's making me think of you can't hunt on the king's land. If you get caught shooting a pheasant, you're going to chop off your balls or whatever they do. Put your head.
Yeah. That's how it is in this world, right, that we're describing. So it's World of Technocratic by Neil Stephenson, and it's written in 1992. And these guys, in the case of Musk and he and some others, they went in 1985 to Stanford, and then 1992 for Thiel. He was in 1985 also. He was graduating in 1992. And as they crossed paths with Brin and Page, right, who were the class of 1992. So all these people kind of converge at Stanford, and they're all kind of linked by, not necessarily in 1992, because the book didn't come out till then, but they're linked by Dungeons and Dragons. That's what they're linked by. Dungeons and Dragons. The more research I do, that's what I'm finding they're linked by. And it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, these are the kids who are playing in the basement, having their parties.
Playing with the demons in the basement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have played D&D, but I mean, they took it really serious. And what they did was, when that book came out, it's like a Bible to them. It's like a manifesto. That's a better word. So Snow Crash is a manifesto for the new technocracy, right? In other words, they don't look at it's supposed to be dystopian from our perspective, but they look at it
their Necronomicon.
Yeah, they look at it like, well, I want to be the guy ruling those fiefdoms, right?
Well, who doesn't want to be that guy? But what have we said? What have we said on this show a million times, man? Show me a billionaire that's not a communist. Show me one. Send me an email with the person's name. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be, I'm telling you, man, 15-minute cities means you get to go down to Walmart and get your clean gray jumpsuit and shove some, you won't even, McDonald's and this and all that, it's going to be all robotic pretty soon. And it will look like a kiosk, just like an idiocracy. Those kiosks, those fast food kiosks. Why would you even
Here's your big ass fries.
Exactly.
F you. Yeah.
Right? But I mean, the thing is, I don't know, did you have a chance to look at that video? Because listen, I'm telling you right now, Americans ain't doing those jobs. Who's going to do those jobs? Show me the population that is going to rush for those little manufacturing jobs. Nobody.
You know what it's going to be, man? It's going to be, we demonize, and we'll talk about this later about that philosophy, because I found something about this philosophy that's really interesting, but later in the show, third hour probably. But it's going to be the manual labor, men in the fields picking strawberries thing. That's what we're going to be. Exactly back to the exact feudalistic mentality that where you're the dung raker in the king's field. That's exactly it. You're either going to be living inside the castle walls, right? And have favor. Living high on the hog is your analogy last
exactly.
week.
Malcolm X.
Yeah, with Malcolm X, be in the house Negro, or you're going to be out in the field doing the slave labor, and that's very much the world of Silverberg's The World Inside. That's exactly it. All these things have a touchstone that you go back and look to the inspiration. When if you were the bad guy and said that's a good thing, like for example, look at 1984, you look at Brave New World, you look at all these things, you think that's a template for what you want to do because you don't have a conscience, you're a sociopath. It's extremely dangerous, but also extremely effective. And that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with this. Like in the case of Snow Crash, this is exactly what they're trying to do. Like it outlined the very thing that would enable everyone to be monitored at all times, in every minute, every second of life, in even immaterial things, right? Like LifeLog we talked about before, from the point of inception to the point of delivery. I mean, all along the way.
Scott Lopez was the guy that found that. Originally, he was the one that found that was there before Facebook. Scott Lopez.
Yep.
What up,
it
Scott?
Launched just the day that Facebook launched. So the day that it quit, the day that it stopped operating, is the day that Facebook launched, which I believe was February 4th, 2004.
Right. Now, listen, Epic Journeyman, listen to this now. Here, everyone, take a listen to this from 1971, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to play the very beginning of this in reference to what we're talking about right now. Be a good citizen and listen quietly and don't say nothing.
All Earth Council, in its infinite wisdom, has decided these two numbers are to be disposed of. The Biochemical Forum has demands to make on their parts, however, before they are eliminated. That's the kind of efficiency that makes you proud to live in this era.
Microcosm.
hot in 30 minutes or it's free. This is Mary. May I take your order?
Hi, Mary. Yes, I'd like to order.
Is this Mr. Kelly?
Yes.
Thank you for calling again, sir. I show your national identification number is 610-204-9998-45-54610. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. I see you live at 736 Montrose Court, but you're calling from your cell phone. Are you at home?
I'm just leaving work, but I'm...
Oh, we can deliver to Bob's Auto Supply. That's at 175 Lincoln Avenue, yes?
No, I'm on my way home. How do you know all this stuff?
We just got wired into the system, sir.
Oh, well, I'd like to order a couple of your double meat special pizzas.
Sure thing. There'll be a new $20 charge for those, sir.
What do you mean?
Sir, the system shows me that your medical records indicate that you have high blood pressure and extremely high cholesterol. Luckily, we have a new agreement with your national health care provider that allows us to sell you double meat pies as long as you agree to waive all future claims of liability.
What?
Do you agree, sir? You can sign the form when we deliver, but there is a charge for processing. The total is $67 even.
$67?
Well, that includes the delivery surcharge of $15 to cover the added risk to our driver of traveling through an orange zone.
I live in an orange zone?
Now you do. Looks like there was another robbery on Montrose yesterday. You could say
It's Friday night. It's into the microcosm. I'm Jimmy. Rock and Rio's here. Epic Journeyman's here. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. There goes Crocus off the Headhunter LP. I played a gig with Crocus. And they kicked ass. All right. It looks like Simon may call in, and I hope he does. And you don't have to rush if you have time and you want, and you can call in. We'll figure out how to get you hooked up. It's almost the top of the hour. At 57 mark, we're going to take a break. But back to what we were saying. So Epic Journeyman now. So it's clear that this, what's been called the PayPal Mafia, it looks like they go back a long ways together. They're bros, and, they got chosen out of these promising young men over at the Stanford University. And, obviously we've talked about it before. The government can't do what the private sector can do. So obviously when you see these large pools of money floating around out there from what's been exposed recently, just even if it's a concept, you can see there's plenty of money to start companies. But like I say, the government can't do what the private sector can. So they go and they tap some of these people over at Stanford University. At Epic Journeyman and I and Rio have done quite a bit and extensive research on the subject matter. But the point is that, hey, come over here and be the head of our company, be the guy, be the face, and these lettered agencies basically really are the ones behind these companies. They're filled with people that have been put there specifically for their knowledge and expertise in certain subject matter to drive technology in a direction. Epic Journeyman and Rock and Rio.
Yeah, in the case of, sorry, come back a bit. I thought it was Rio talking. Sorry, Rio. I was amazed to find out that like how much or how entwined these people are. I mean, we've known it for a lot of years actually, but it's not just that. It's not that they knew each other this length of time. It's that they're linked by this idea, right? That I just like most good-hearted people, I never thought that people would choose to be the bad guys, right? But they did. That's what this is. I mean, that's what this is. Like, so in other words, we thought before, like Brave New World in 1984, he just says like Dick Cheney or something, right? Like use it as a manual, right? And that's true. Like, but it turns out the father of the neocon movement, one of the fathers of the neocon movement, not the only one, what was also the guy met Thiel at Stanford, because Thiel stayed in Stanford for his whole PhD, or not PhD, his whole program. He was a PhD candidate, but he went to law school. Anyway, the point being that out of all those recruits we're talking about earlier, like Larry Page and Sergey Brin and Elon Musk and stuff, Thiel was the one who stayed at Stanford. And the thing is, along that way, he met his mentor, who had this philosophy called mimesis, which we'll talk about later, right? And it's not mimetic, like we talk about mimetic. Mimesis is a different thing. And when we discuss it in detail, it's going to make a lot of sense.
Epic, we got a caller. Hey, caller.
Okay, hello, caller.
What's happening?
Hello, Jimmy?
Hey, yeah, hey, what's going on?
This is Scott from Punxsutawney.
Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Great.
Excellent.
Great to get through.
Pardon me?
It's really great to get through.
Oh, great, man.
You know what, I agree with you guys. I think that the new administration is like set up for billionaires and people at the top. And the MAGA people are just like stooges, that like go along for the ride.
Yeah, man. Well, we can see, the landscape, and we can see there, we're in the implementation phase of the technology that's going to fuel the future. So there's so many opportunities and places for the humanity to go in this moment. Unfortunately, there's nobody that has a reckoning of what is actually going on, so we could steer ourselves in a proper direction. So what's happening is people are being led around by the nose by people being dazzlers. They come in and they dazzle you with what's possible with the technology. The thing is, with technology, we're really at a point where right now all someone has to do is tell you they can just make something up and not even have the technology to back it up. They can make it up and then get some venture capital from somebody and then just use that capital to find the people to actually make what they're doing happen. Anything you want to do in this moment with technology is going to be possible. So we could move into a bright future for humanity, but it seems like we're moving into the dark enlightenment, put forward by these neo-reactionalists.
You know what, Jimmy? I agree with you 100%. I think that the technology is here, it's available, but most people don't have a clue.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're coming
Most people don't have a clue, and I'll tell you what, when we have all these jobs available for tech people to like develop the chips and the things that supposedly we're going to invest in, the educational system isn't here in the United States to produce these type of students or workers that can move into this like field.
You're 100% correct, my friend. You know what it does? It just, I just have to always go and take myself away for a minute because we're coming up on the break. And but I want to introduce people to somebody. This dude is named Buddy Whittington. Buddy Whittington, all right? And this is a live jam from Germany in 2012. This is Buddy Whittington. I just got back from babies. Thanks for calling, brother. We appreciate.
Thank you, Jenny.
We appreciate.
Have a good one.
We appreciate you.
different babies. We've been rolling on that long. She come on like she loved me, but I feel like something's wrong. Sometime I go see baby, sometime baby come see me. Sometime I go see baby, sometime baby come see me.
That's right. That's Buddy Whittington. This is In to the Microcosm. Rock and Realist here. Epic Journeyman's here. You're here. We're going to see if we can get Simon to stop by. And then we'll open up the phones as well. We got way more to get into. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message.
Did you ever feel that things were not quite right? That everything was just ever so slightly askew?
Do you have, to paraphrase Morpheus, a splinter in your mind?
If you're interested in hearing the latest information about UFOs, the paranormal,
ancient cultures and structures,
monatomic elements,
longevity,
fantastic discoveries in science,
downloaded to your brain,
then tune into us. Hi, I'm Dave.
And I'm Mackie.
And we are Shiny Side Out, Sundays 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
If you're sick of the lies and ready to know thyself, to love thyself, well then tune in to the Loveolution with your hosts, Amy and John Paul, where we speak all about truth, love, and freedom every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on Revolution Radio. And remember, only you can free your mind control. Be a Loveolutionary.
Welcome to Coffee Rants with Dan. I am the spiritual anarchist, Dan Arnold, your host. Tune in for what's really happening every Thursday. That's Thursday at 9 a.m. in Studio A on Revolution Radio. They keep us in fear to manipulate us. They want us ignorant so we're easier to enslave. They make us murder one another so they don't have to do it themselves. Only you can break their mind control by healing the contradictions within your belief systems that allow you to accept their lies in the first place. The time has come for us to remember our divinity, who we really are, to return to what we are meant to be, a service to others, to return to nature, and to reclaim our birthright, that which is freedom. The truth will sound belligerent because it is in direct opposition to lies. So get angry, because anger is sacred, and together we can unite and rise. Rise from this darkness. Humanity, assemble.
Check in every Thursday night for the Crypt Rick and Jonathan Show. Studio A, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right here at the #1 listener-supported radio station, Revolution Radio.
I want to thank everybody for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the one place where information never sleeps. Revolution Radio.
All right, let's show them what we got here.
All right, thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Woe to you, O earth and sea, for the devil sends the beast with wrath, because he knows the time is short.
It's Friday night. This is some organic music performed by humans back in the 70s. Ronnie Van Zant and Leonard Skinner. I'm sorry. Did I... That's out the second helping LP. You can check that out. Rock and Real. How many bar fights do you think broke out when Skinner was coming up and they were just playing around in some local area? And he'd just be packed with a bunch of long hairs from the 70s and shit. You know, Southern boys and shit, and just pool cues, people getting smacked in the head with pool cues. I mean, when I hear that song, man, I can feel the energy of that. You know what I mean? They were badasses, man. Skinner, the original band. You know, I think Johnny tried to take over for which one of his brothers tried to be the lead for Skinner after.
I think it was Johnny.
Johnny, yeah. Well, I'm gonna say Ronnie and Johnny. They're like Rand Paul and Ron Paul. So
and little Steven, right?
Yeah. It's the difference between Ronnie and Johnny. Is like Rand and Ron. It's a big difference between the two. All right, listen, we're talking about the future. Did we get a hold of Simon?
Yeah, he's contacted me. I'm ringing him now.
All right, sweet. Yeah, sweet.
Here he is.
Oh, badass. All right, hey, Simon, man, welcome into the microcosm. You're muted. So whenever you unmute, just let us know. Epic German's here. There he goes.
Hey, hey guys.
Hey, Simon. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I'm actually dog sitting my girlfriend's dog, it's like her sister's dog, and it's just going nuts, barking away. It's relaxed now, but it's good to get out. It's a nice sunny day here in Melbourne.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, interesting topic.
Yeah, thanks. So what do you think about some of what we're talking about now? These small enclaves of these billionaire oligarchs sitting up in their high horse behind their gated communities with these hired assassins sitting on the wall, dictating out here. What do you think?
Larry Ellison is a real interesting character. He's sort of been quite for the last, as long as I can really remember, right? He's come out of the woodwork with the Trump administration, right? And yeah, it's concerning, but no more concerning than the likes. You mentioned the PayPal mafia just before, and they're like a real insidious bunch in many respects, and they've really come to the forefront in recent times. Again, with Trump coming to power, and well, on one hand, for all that money, they probably think they're doing a good thing, maybe, but on the other hand, it is. I can see how some people will be concerned. However, it's really at the end of the day what you make it, really. If you let them do certain things.
Let me ask you this question now. And you've been involved in technology for a super long time. And so we're moving into this era where there's going to be a quantum computing network and quantum protection for people's identity and so forth. Well, there's a 1 and then there's a 0 and then there's a something else. And so the storing of information in this area called the something else would protect people from people with regular PCs or laptops or the current technology available to the public would not be able to hack. Would not be able to hack.
Basically, so in recent times, there's really been quite a lot of buzz about this, right? Quantum this, quantum that. So really, basically, apparently, allows them to summarize all of the potential combinations for an encryption key in 1 second. So now you were talking about that facility in Utah, right?
Yeah.
And they say that that's to be an archive for cracking in the future when this eventual.
We lost you.
Yeah, he dropped.
He might have dropped his phone. No, so what I was getting at is I want to sort of touch a little bit on how protected your information is, because I think we've talked about in the past about moving into the future, and if it may be their biggest mistake they ever made was to actually have us have our own positive ID where it's protected like that, because then we can eliminate most of what goes on with government. Because then we would have a positive ID and a vote for my ID, and we could eliminate the Congress and the Senate and just have people voting for how they want to spend their money. We've talked about electronic anarchy. Why are you paying if you don't want to pay to fix the roads, but you want to pay to fix the dam, and you want to apply whatever taxes applied to that particular project? Then you could decide where you wanted to spend your particular tax money. Not just everybody just throwing money in some pool that goes nowhere, except to start the new companies in the Silicon Valley. Did Simon come back?
I think so. Yes.
All right, great.
Maybe.
Hey, Simon. So you were there, but you dropped out.
Ah.
Yeah. So we were getting that. We were getting.
I was
that-
having a big ramble, right? There's silence. I'm like, hello? Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's too bad. No, so we were kind of talking about the quantum space and in the future and how this space is supposedly private and protected no matter what, because us normal people out here can't hack into that world. And you were also saying how you could also use it to profile a particular individual in a second with the scanning of the information that's recorded in the Utah facility.
Yeah, it's more so whatever encryption is in place. So your basic sort of public key encryption, RSA, blah, blah, blah. It's been around for a long time. Essentially, that is apparently can be circumvented in an instant. It's not so much making someone's profile or details instantly available. It just means amongst that big, massive spool of data they've got, it means they can read it a little bit better. They still have a massive task with ingesting it all. And even that, I was saying in the chat before, that basically, when, say, for example, Edward Snowden came out, right?
Yeah.
And he, whoa, they can listen to everything. Everyone get a VPN, basically. People went and did that. Stupid move. You're basically just putting like, might as well get, Christmas tree lights and wrap them around yourself and just, you're visible. Mm-hmm. It's not security. And most of these things are run by Israeli front companies, right? Run from Mossad or Unit A200 funded, basically. And so it's a big honeypot in many respects. It's false security. Best of making your own, which is not an easy task for most people, right?
Right.
But it's not an easy space to navigate, right?
No.
If I've walked down a dead end road, haven't I? Fucking hell. Hang on. Oh.
You still
right? Back.
You still with us?
Back past the people looking at me weird when I walk past. Anyway, yeah. So it's difficult for people to navigate, right? There's a lot of just out there. A lot of fear mongering. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, life moves on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, look, there's a million videos out there of people, and so we're living in a world where people don't want to work. Okay, they don't want to go down to a construction site and bang a hammer, or whatever. What they want to do is sit on their ass and play video games. And so then, when you play video games from a young age, you become tech savvy and this and that. So there's quite a bit of people. I'd say there's a giant group of people that most people don't think about, but I see these videos on a regular basis, and I want to talk to you about this. So I see a dude, he pulls up in a car and he puts an electronic device up in front of the camera, and there's a guy, and he's at a gas station, and there's a guy at the gas pump, and this dude is sitting there with this little scanner device, and the minute this dude taps his card on that credit card thing, this guy scores. Somehow he gets the and I don't know if it's some sort of a Bluetooth thing or whatever, but
it'll be like there's a couple of devices like this. There's one called name escapes me. Basically, it's doing a man-in-the-middle attack. You can get these embedded. They're called software-defined radios. They're a small little unit. Basically, allows you to what would normally when you want to listen to or something in the radio spectrum, you have to have a thing called a digital signal processor. And it's a custom chip. But now you can do all that in software. And you can emulate, say, a garage door opener. Or you can emulate, say, a Bluetooth controller.
Right.
Or SCADA system, meaning like something like a factory, like the control systems. And you can basically hack in using this thing.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting space. You get sort of attack scenarios where you say, the key fobs. When you open a car, right, you can do a thing sort of replay attack. So you intercept the key that's been sent by the fob, and then you replay that to the car, and you can open it. There's different attacks like that.
Yeah.
There's certainly been close helps.
I've seen, and I've seen a bunch of videos. It's describing exactly what Simon's talking about. somebody somebody getting your garage door opener, somebody getting your car key, somebody getting your credit card just when you're unaware of it. So listen, man, we don't sell shit here, but I would recommend, and I will ask you, because a lot of this stuff has RFID in it and you don't even know. Like, you're walking around with this thing. So would you recommend people buy one of these wallets where when you're keeping your card in your pocket, it's got some sort of a, Faraday cage around it, so, people can't scan your device or whatever?
I think just last week, MasterCard and Visa announced they're going to be doing all the numbering system. So you'll be given a unique credit card number for every single merchant that you're going to be dealing with. So it must be something on your phone. And so you literally have all these virtual card numbers that get generated ad nauseum. So that mitigates that type of attack vector pretty well.
Now,
if that's the case.
Is this similar to this Altman idea of the eyeball scan where he doesn't save
WorldCoin? WorldCoin's a bit of a sort of a bullshit thing. As far as I know, it failed. Concerning, I guess, but I haven't heard much about it.
Well, I mean, in the sense that whenever you're saying that you'll generate a credit card number or a credit card for each individual merchant. So I'm thinking, if that would be the case, it would be some sort of proximity detection, and then you'd come in to that store, you'd open an account,
phone. So you'd have like your banking app where your credit card's tied to. There'll just be a function in there where you just spin up a new card number, and you may find it's just tap and pay on your phone.
Oh, so it might,
as opposed to God.
So it might be like when you let your computer give you a new password, and it gives a super complicated password. It'll just be something like that, like an immediate password that's only good for the amount of time you're in the store.
Yeah, more or less. All of that might be valid for the duration of your relationship. So you might, subscribe to, say, a magazine. I mean, who does that these days? But you might have a subscription of some sort. Keep the card valid for the duration of that, relationship. And if that's all. You can. So it makes it easier.
Okay,
in terms of managing.
Would that be managed on this blockchain ledger where things are tokenized in the same way? So you're
possibly. I mean, I've not really looked at the retail side of things in terms of the the blockchain and so forth. I'm more interested in the wholesale banking, interbank transfers like tokenized gold, which is sort of like some interesting stuff going on there at the moment. Anyway.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of interest. Yeah, we're moving seriously fast into the future economic system where, tokenization of assets is going to happen. And we see there's some very important things going to happen here in the next little while. For example, the Federal Reserve is testing something, and they want to go live with it. And so they're coming up on a date here pretty quick in the new Fed coin thing. So they're coming up on this date, and it's a go, no go. So if they try this ledger and they transfer this money and they do this test and it goes good, they're going to just keep going. In other words, they won't stop.
Yeah.
If something happens,
there's many different concurrent trial projects underway. If you go to a site called the Atlantic CBDC Tracker, you'll see a nice map of the globe, and it'll have the different types of in-flight trials involving CBDC-like platforms. It's a nice little map of the world and so forth. But that's pretty up-to-date and quite interesting.
Yeah, it's wild what's going on in the background. Now, I typically, for the last, just ever since Bitcoin started, I stayed away from crypto. I didn't look at it. I didn't check it out. Wasn't interested in learning anything about it. But, about 3 or 4 months ago, I became interested in it beyond what I knew about it. And I started to look into it pretty heavily. And since I've been doing that, I can, and I don't like to come on here and talk about it all the time because I don't want people to think I'm trying to sell them on the idea. But And I don't give financial advice, okay? But what I see right now is I see the world is preparing to move into a new economic era. The old system is broken, it's clunky, and it costs a lot of money. It costs so much money that almost the money that could be saved to move into the new system alone would drive all these banks and institutions into moving into this space. You know, so there's something called the DTCC. We talked about it on here. And the DTCC is going to move into this space immediately. And they're moving in on this particular coin called XDC. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm just telling you that they move quadrillions worth of monies and dollars every year. So if you know that, and you know how many, if you know something's worth something, and there's only so many of it, even it's going to be worth more than it is now when they move into that. So I mean, you can see everything's being put in place. Maybe there's going to be some kind of weird financial crisis that causes the moving over, or you can go over to the Federal. Hang on one second. You go over to the Federal Reserve website and look at what they're talking. It's right on their website what they're going to do. It says exactly what they're going to do: go or no go. And they say when they go, they ain't coming back, and their systems won't even recognize the language from the old system. Go ahead, Simon. Sorry about that.
There's latency as well, because I am on the other side of the planet. And I had this sort of situation when I was talking to someone, where was it? Somewhere in Europe, right? And it just happens, man. So, all good. Shit, what was I going to say? Yeah, look, it's gonna transition. It's gonna be done in different ways in different markets. The one thing that's going to be uniform to some degree is the replacement for SWIFT for interbank settlement. Again, that's sort of what I've been looking at most recently, because there's simply a shitload of money that's going to run across that. And there's a school of thought from sort of looking about, and again, this is just a guess, tokenized gold as opposed to using the US dollar per se, because you've got like the BRICS, which is out there and sort of threatening in some respects the US dollar hegemony, right? And so on one hand, I'm sort of thinking, what if the US sort of joins in, right? And there has been a school of thought around it using gold as the underlying, like a tangible asset per se. It's not fiat.
Yeah.
It's less printed out of thin air than it currently is somewhat. So there's that sort of theory.
Right. So that it'd be based. So every country's stable coin that they have would be based in the dollar value of their particular dollar in their country, and it would be backed by gold. So every dollar from each country would be backed by gold, and that stable coin will stay the same price. So in other words, a stable coin for the United States dollar, the RLUSD, the Ripple XRP stable coin, if that coin,
I think is likely, potentially, going to be the underlying mechanism for this particular, whatever it is, be it tokenized gold or whatever the interbank settlement mechanism, the asset, we'll run over something like that. Because Ripple basically, now I'm near some cars, so it might get a little bit noisy. I'm actually near a mosque as well. A few fellows walking about. What the fuck? Anyway, basically, random. I don't really come to this area very much anyway. What was I saying? Shit, I lost train of thought. Yeah. I'm still mate.
We were talking.
Sorry,
no,
Chief.
it's all right. We were talking about the Ripple rails. The Ripple rails have been installed all over the planet.
Yeah, and so the SEC has really kept it down, like for a number of years, right? And we saw Ripple go up. It was late last year, and Ripple, the company, purchased I think it was about a $1.5 billion asset. Some other, I think it was a stable coin company. I think it was last week or the week before. And if you look, I was doing some analysis around, okay, if you were to plug in Ripple, right? Because at the end of the day, no one really knows exactly who owns it, right? So it could be all these big financial institutions, because it's not traded between, say, actual like Bitcoin, retail people, right?
Right.
I just get the impression that they're gonna just flip a switch.
Guess what?
And it's already been announced as being strategic asset by David Sachs, who's the Trump crypto czar, right? Recently.
Well, also,
so yes, I mean I'm not an expert by any means,
also,
but there's just some interesting shit going on. That's
also the tech bros are involved in this particular system that we're talking about. So they're all bros. Epic Journeyman, Rock Rio, you guys jump in here too. So listen, Elon Musk has a wallet. There's a XRP wallet. It's called Musk. It's got $12 million worth of XRP in it. He just bought some more recently, as they say. So, and then the guy that started the whole XRP idea in Ripple, there's even conspiracy theories that think that Elon Musk was the one that started Bitcoin. Now I'm saying he did, but let's just.
I have a grand conspiracy theory on this.
Go ahead, jump in here.
My grand conspiracy theory is that Satoshi Nakamoto is Jeffrey Epstein. And that is why all those people came to him, went to that island in the first place. All those billionaires and everywhere, and the former world leaders and stuff went and visited him, is because he is one of the recruited from Dalton School by Barr's, Attorney General Barr's father, when he was the dean of the school at Dalton School, and put in this position in the first place, right? And that's why he created his Royal Ranch in New Mexico for his eugenics projects. And the thing is that the reason that he was murdered was because they're trying to extort the Bitcoin wallet, which is Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin, right? To get it from him, right? And that is what this is all about. Has been what it's all about. I used to think it was Joy Ito. I still think Joy Ito is the most likely person. Nobody's ever said that but me, but Joiito, Joy Ito. I think Joy Ito is a creator, I always have, of Bitcoin. But certainly could be wrong. It's just a theory, right? But
yeah,
Jeffrey Epstein makes a lot of sense, man. It does. It makes sense why they would take him out the way they did and send that big thug in the cell with them to extort what's your credentials, man? What is your Bitcoin wallet? That's exactly what it was.
Well, it could be. You never know. Now, I'm just saying there's a whole other thing in the crypto community. And there's people and there's videos. You can go look at it. There's some good evidence that, could make you just go, huh. It's like one of those things, the things that makes you go, Hey, it's Revolution Radio. We're fully listener supported. We need some greenbacks. We take crypto. Free speech. 48 hours a day, 7 days a week. Studio A, Studio B. Come on down. Become supporters. Get back. 718-618-9905 is the number to call. I'm getting Skyped over here. Not much longer though. Let me scroll. I don't see anybody.
It's all right.
All right. I saw something.
Yeah, Simon's going for some steak, so he'll be back in a bit.
Hey, Simon, good on you, man. Enjoy that red meat. I'm sure the beef, if you want beef, I'm sure down in Australia, the beef is good. I don't know. What I do know is this Friday night, it's in the microcosm, and we're here with you. Like we
He
are.
might be having some kangaroo steak or something, you know.
Man, there's no... Man, I'll tell you right now, just to live and survive in Australia with all the dangerous shit, the bugs, the snakes. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy stuff, man. All right, listen, we're talking about the future. And, you know, I mean, I guess if you bust out to the outback or whatever. I was watching these videos for a while. It was this couple, and they just had a boat, and they're just going, you know, all up and down the coast, going to these little coves or whatever. Swim ashore, you know, pitch a tent or whatever. Eat dinner, you know, fish. And just, you know, they're always in their swimsuits, you know. They're just sunglasses and swimsuits, you know. They got this boat, you know, going back and forth. I mean, they got to get fuel somewhere, but I guess you just carry a bunch of gas cans, you know. But you just can't get to the point of no return. And that's where you are tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's halfway through the second hour. It's Ground Zero Plus. It's Independent Broadcast Network, Revolution Radio, FreeWorld.fm, and TalkStream Live. I've been busted over to talk. Hey, Rio, you want to shout outs the chats over in YouTube real quick? And let me go check TalkStream, see if we're on the radar.
Yeah,
Right on.
we got a bunch of people.
Yeah, right on.
Going in here. Martin, Sam, Vin, of course, Amber. There's someone called Ronan, Flippy, the greatest ever. Brent. Let's see, Polly's hanging around. Cac is in there.
What's up, Cac?
Sam Lowe.
Woohoo! Amber
John
too.
O. Karen Carpenter. Linda, and that's all I can see at the moment.
That's kick ass. Woohoo! Amber too. I see Amber's in there. All right, listen. So, where we go now, I don't know, but I do know this. We're heading into the future one way or the other. I mean, you guys know? Is anyone on here? Any of you guys think there's any way around any of this? Because I mean, Rio, you already said you already got your North American passport for the new North American Union.
For the enhanced driver's license with the RFID.
Now, Epic Journeyman, did you go get yours? I mean, are you together, man? Are you going to be able to travel? No, we're number 11 on TalkStream Live. Go ahead. I guess he's out checking the perimeter.
No, I have my TSA pre-check. I don't have the real ID apparently, because I thought, well, I had that because we have this weird ID card anyway, but apparently we don't. So, but I have my passport, so we'll see. We'll see. I might have to get it. We'll see.
Well, if you have a real ID, it'll have a star on it. If you have an enhanced passport, it'll have a flag on it. So,
it's been trying to do it for 10 years, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just got mine 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah, no, they're not effing around. Epic, they're not effing around. You're going to be standing there with your cucumber in your hand on one side of the airport over there.
What's the comedy with the musicians? Damn it, I can't forget the name. I can't remember. Did forget the name. Sorry, I can't forget the name. Yeah. Anyway, with the guys from Laverne Shirley and whatnot, right?
The one thing I found interesting about this new card, though, right, is, I mean, they changed the driver's license and they added a little hologram thing, and now it's got your date of birth on it like 8 times in big letters and gold letters and embossed letters, and I guess there's been a problem with people's ages being a thing with your driver's license lately. But,
must be they don't want you getting drunk.
Yeah.
Or buying weed. No weed.
On the back of the card, right? Like, obviously your driver's license is 2-sided. Not only is there a big number now that looks like a passport number, the big alphanumeric change with some digits in it.
Yeah.
But the spot where the chip is, the RFID chip, is clear on the back, right? And it's in the shape of a serpent, and the chip is at the serpent's head.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah. At least on a New York State driver's license.
Is there a way Is there a way you could take a picture of it, but without your shit on there? Just the.
Yeah, I probably could.
You should do it and give it to me on the break, because we're coming up on the break here in about 20 minutes or so. Where did Epic Journeyman come back? Are you there, bro? So listen, what's gonna happen, dude, is you're gonna show up.
Yeah, I'm here. I was trying to remember the name of that stupid comedy.
They're
famous comedy, Rock and Roll Cleveland. Anyway, but that's the whole thing.
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap. Yes, exactly. Because remember the drummer. The drummers always get zapped and they all die in the bathtub, electrocuted or something. Thinking about earlier when we were talking about drummers, but then the one guy has the wrapped cucumber in tinfoil, was going through the check line before 9/11, right? Going at the airport, scanner, right? So we talked about the cucumber thing. That's exactly what I thought about. Sorry, went all that distance to get there, but
it's
I finally found my way back home.
The thing is that you can't ever get past the point of no return, like I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, you go there and you got enough fuel to get somewhere. Always got to have enough to get back, right, Epic Journeyman? Otherwise, you end
that's right. Bingo fuel, as pilots say. Bingo fuel means bingo means you don't have enough fuel to get back. You have to turn around right there. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So
that's what bingo means. Air Force
you
or Navy, anywhere. Pilots.
You don't want to get to the point of no return. Now, Rock and Rio, I'm interested in this ID because you were saying now. This is you can use this like a passport to go to Canada and Mexico. Is that what you were saying?
Canada and Mexico. Yes.
Huh. Now, is it? Can you go past Canada and Mexico, or like once you get?
No. Like if I went to Mexico, like I couldn't go out the southern side of Mexico into another country.
You couldn't jump on a plane down to Mexico somewhere and just fly.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. But if you took the plane from Mexico to wherever, you still got to go through border control when you get to wherever you're going.
Can't you just play dead or whatever? You're just like, oh yeah, hey man, I'm going to go on this princess cruise.
Somebody actually just there was a big news story about somebody getting arrested for doing just exactly that.
Seriously?
They came to America on a visa and decided to go south. They were cruising around, decided to cross the border into Mexico, and then when they tried to get back in, they got arrested because they had violated their visa terms. They were supposed to come to America, not go to Mexico.
Yeah. That was the Canadian girl, right? She was Canadian, right? And she lived here for like 12 years, something like that, a lot, right? She's here all the time. I mean, she's basically a dual citizen, and she just went to like Mexico on the way in, coming from wherever she was vacationing back into America.
Well, she decided she wanted to go take a couple days down in Mexico to go see the sights and just went across the border. They let her over there.
She got detained for 3 weeks. She got locked in a hellhole for 3 weeks. Nobody knew where she was. The whole thing. She had no way to call anybody. Anything. There's a whole article that she wrote about it. I mean, that's lame, right? Come on now. That's not the country we're supposed to live in, man. Come on.
I do have a passport. Well, I have to actually renew it. It's slightly expired, but
the thing is,
I have a passport for international, like real international travel.
Me too. But
I mean, I've been all over Europe, so it's not.
Hey, Paul.
It's not really a concern for me that I could go to Canada and Mexico anyway. So.
Yeah, her case was she's from, I think she's from Toronto, if I'm not mistaken. I might be mistaken, but I think she's from Toronto, and she lives in like all the time in America, back and forth all the time, right? Like a lot of Canadians do. And she got detained, and then like 3 weeks she couldn't call anybody, couldn't do anything, and then she finally got out, and then now she's never coming back to America, right? Because hey, well until things change, right? Because of that, which you can't blame her, but. What the hell is that, man? I mean, she was just going on vacation for a couple of days, like I say, to go see the sights of Mexico. What the hell, I mean, it's like anybody else we know. That's not a crime. What the hell?
She broke the rules, right? That's what they're.
But that's not a big. I mean, all she did was just divert her trip. Yeah. I mean,
they're cracking down on the whole border thing, and
Listen, they ain't cracking down on jack shit. Listen to this. Man.
Well, I mean, if
No,
if
listen.
you're a legal person or you're a citizen, yeah, they're
No.
cracking down on it. They, they're
Listen
not
to
letting
this.
you in. But
Listen to this, man. I was gonna play this in the first hour. I forgot, but listen. This is the reversal on this. I mean, is clear because when you think about what it would take to actually extricate 8 million people out of here, how long that would take, like how many individuals you would have to get rid of every single day in and day out.
well, they estimate 10,000 a day come across, so that's 10,000 a day you got to send back.
At
Right?
least you'd have to double it, double that again. You still don't get soup, my friend.
We're also going to work with farmers that if they have strong recommendations for their farms for certain people, we're going to let them stay in for a while and work with the farmers and then come back and go through a process, a legal process. But we have to take care of our farmers and hotels and various places where where they need the people. And we're going to be working with you very carefully on that. So a farmer will come in with a letter concerning certain people saying they're great, they're working hard. We're going to slow it down a little bit for them, and then we're going to ultimately bring them back. They'll go out, they're going to come back as legal workers. Okay?
So they can lay.
All right, there he goes. The commander in chief.
So he's all for the Mexican onion pickers and the laborers, right? Because they're the people who do the
Good band name, by the way.
They're the people who do the jobs that other people don't want to do, and toil out in the fields or scrub the toilets in the hotels. Those
Listen to
people
me.
are fine, but
I swear
and
to
we'll
God.
give them a path. But
No, man, listen to me.
Those people I have to
No,
laugh, right?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you right now what happened, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. This dude is backing up, man. He's backing up big time. Because I'm gonna tell you right now. Where I live. A lot of people in this country get food from right here where I live on this coast, and I drive up.
and I'm sure there's a lot of illegal migrants working those fields too, right?
There probably is.
But they have
but-
migrant workers. They get migrant
let me
pass, right?
Let me finish. Let me finish. Okay. Yeah, there is what you're saying, Rock Rio. There's quite a bit of people that work in these fields. Let me tell you guys something. There is no harder work on this planet than picking shit out of those fields, man. You are bending over all day long, bending over at the waist, carrying this shit. And you should see there's people are covered in dust because the winds blow through there. And they wear these rags over the top of their heads, and they're working for almost nothing. And when he scared everybody about what he was going to do, those fields were empty. And all of a sudden, when your shit doesn't get picked, what happens to fruits and vegetables when they don't get picked?
They rot.
Exactly. So what was going to happen is there was going to be some more food shortages. He has to back up on that. And
Well, I mean, even here in this area, we have a huge amount of apples and probably the most prominent onion supply in the country. In this area. So, there's a lot of them around here too that are, and they're important to the economy
are.
and the culture.
They are, man. I mean, there's
it's not. It's not so much that most of those people are actually here to work and be productive and earn a living and be for their families.
Yeah.
And, they're not here causing problems
No.
or migrating their gang up here to wreck buildings. And those people are most of those people are pretty chill, actually.
Yeah, actually, what it is if they are there and there is any activity like you're talking about, and I'm not pointing fingers and I'm not making accusations, but I'm just saying, just based on models and movies that I've seen in the past, if there's some people that are off kilter and out of place, what's the first thing that happens is you get some protection from somebody. So you're going to pay somebody to take care of you and make sure nothing happens. You don't get arrested or anything like this. So I'm sure there's a whole protection racket going on, and like I say, I'm not saying anything and pointing any fingers. I'm just saying logic would dictate, because when there's a food source, what happens? a life form develops to feed off of that food source, you know, and they multiply. And that's what happens, you know. Throw a bag of rice under your house for the apocalypse and find out what happens. I did. It was funny. All right, listen, 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Dotson Focus cruised by over in the chat room. It's good to see you. All right, listen, CAC, are you calling in? I think Polynation's going to call in the third hour. He's got something to say about something. I know. So, and I know people dig Polynation, and for good reason. He's a good dude. And there's a lot of good people around the show, and we're glad you found it. Now we appreciate you. And, you know, we're bringing some information to the table. And, you know, it's late. It's Friday night.
And Pauly's own show is actually really good, too.
I know.
He gets into some pretty good depth on some of that music.
He does. Not only that, but, I mean, he's a damn fine chef. I mean, I've been telling him for years. If he would,
got to do some cooking stuff, man.
That's what I mean. I'm saying with his voice, his personality, his outgoing attitude, his positivity, his cooking show could potentially be a really big show, you know?
Yeah, you could take over the Google Burgers, man, you know?
Pauly, man, you should, you know, I'm the kingmaker, dude. You should just listen to what I say. You know, hey, speaking of that, you know, don't forget, Revolution Radio is fully listener supported, and now, over on Ground Zero Plus, if you're listening after the show was live at 9 p.m. Pacific on Revolution Radio and YouTube, you can also become subscribers over there, too. And I think there's a way you can say you want to subscribe to Into the Microcosm. And so if you can and you want to, go ahead. We'd appreciate it. And otherwise, if you got a couple bones to throw Revolution Radio's way for, you know, 14 years of solid presentation of free speech in every way. There's been some great broadcasters on here throughout the years, and there's archives available over there, and they're always free. But you know, the rent man gets red ass, and we got to pay like everybody else. So we've done it without any commercial, you know, intervention at all. You know what I mean? You're gonna hear some ads, but it's for shows that are coming up. You know, might catch your ear, something you want to listen to. You're sitting around whittling on the front porch in your rocking chair with a shotgun in your lap. You got nothing to do, you know. You throw it on, man, you got something to listen to. 48 hours a day, 7 days a week. Come on down, become supporters. All right, listen, we're coming up at the end. We got any callers there? No?
Nope.
All right, listen. We got about 12 minutes left, Rock and Rio. Did you take a picture of that positive ID?
No, not yet. I have to go upstairs and get it.
Don't you think it's funny how all of a sudden the North American Union seems possible? You know, it seems a little bit. It seems like this whole, you know, scrapping that's been going on. It could just be like a wrestling thing, you know, where it's like, you know, we're enemies or whatever, you know. We're gonna, you know, hit each other with tariffs. Listen, I haven't even talked about some of the stuff that's going on with China, between China and the United States, and there's a lot there. So we could talk maybe about some of that on the third hour. But so in the meantime, Rock and Rio, have you looked into any of this disappearing population shit for China that we were talking about?
Well, I've heard a little bit about it, and you know, there is speculation that it's you know, due to the injectable that happened. The other speculation is that there is a new variant that has been targeted to those people specifically that has taken them out. But you know, I don't know. You know, has China been lying about their population numbers for years? It's very possible.
I don't know, man. I'm just saying they suck of resources. Why just not move to robotics, you know? But
yeah.
Now listen, before we go, I'm putting this up on the screen over on YouTube. So if you're listening on the air or you're listening over on TalkStream or whatever, you ain't gonna be able to see it. But I'll tell you what is going on. So apparently, you know how everybody was wearing those American flag lapels, those pins, like everybody government, you'd see them wearing these pins, these.
Yeah, everybody. They all wear the flag on their.
Well, guess what, man? The flag has been replaced with a golden Trump head.
The Golden Toad.
Dude, it's beyond funny.
I was gonna bring that up today. Yeah, exactly.
No, man.
Talk about cult, man.
Oh my!
Come on, man.
Look at I got a
The
picture.
Trump of the cult of the Golden Toad. Man.
Dude, it's so funny. The Golden Toad.
I think they should call it the Order of the Golden Toad. That would be the.
Yeah. I think of the movie Conan the Barbarian with the snake cult, right? It's like the same thing, right?
Yeah,
So it's like,
Dude, it has a picture. Here's a picture of federal FCC chair Brendan Carr sports a gold Trump head lapel pin. It says members of Trump cabinets, along with Congress people and senators, are being instructed to wear a tribute to the inglorious convicted felon leader. So apparently Molly Puffkins is not a big fan of Trump. But irrespective of that, I saw somebody tweet after this ahead of Lenin and saying they remember they came to America from,
Oh yeah, they did. That's right. There were Lenin.
that's
there
right.
were Lenin pins.
Ayn Rand, ironically, Ayn Rand was a big spokesperson for that very thing. The Lenin head on the
and the same thing with Mao.
Right?
There was a Mao head. There was also a gold Mao head. Also, it's crazy shit. Could you ever believe? Man, it's like we're living. Man, I swear, it's almost like we're living in some sort of reality TV show. These plot.
Well, that's the plan, right? I think it is.
These plot lines are out of control.
Yeah, it's what was the Jim Carrey movie? Where he was in the Truman Show. Yeah, that's what they're doing to us. They're Truman showing us.
Dude, not only are they Truman showing us, but just like the Truman Show, we played this game with the AI and we had it writing music. Man, you could. I mean, at this point, couldn't you Truman show somebody, like an individual, like purposely
create a character? Yeah, instead of having your corporate owned person, you create your own person through AI that is just the embodiment of everything you want.
Well, how about you don't create your own person, but how about you are manipulated directly to you, putting you in a Truman Show, using AI to put you exactly here in front of
nudging
and moving you all over the place, and being able to do it because it psychologically has you dialed in, and so it can literally send you down a road almost like an adventure, like one of these buddy movies or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's the reality show I was thinking about today, Rio. Exactly, great insight, because I was thinking about exactly that thing. Like the whole administration right now is like it's a reality show. Like that's the template it's using. It's not that it's trying to govern. It's an entertainment commodity. It's being marketed.
What's funny is I used to sit there back in the day when The Apprentice was on, and my mom watched every season of that Apprentice. I used to sit there with my mom and hang out with my mom, watch The Apprentice. So I watched show after show after show after show of The Apprentice. And so I've seen dude in so many situations, and these were obviously, staged scenarios, but the way he handled himself, the way he did business, the tasks that he put these project managers against, who he chose in the end and why, all that stuff, man. Listen, it wasn't all made up, was it? Of course it was. It was a script, wasn't it? And he was an actor.
It was. Mark Burnett did the whole thing. It was produced by Mark Burnett. And the whole thing was that they had the guy from the magic show, I forget the guy's name, who was on The Apprentice twice, saying that, he just went there to marvel at the inhumanity of the lack of empathy this guy had. He said, spend 12 hours a day trying to film, 15 minutes of content for Trump to say something worth using in the show. Right? That was the thing. No, sit there and not smudge the table. That was Penn and Teller, right? So Penn, right? I think was the guy. And he was on Rogan talking about it. He's going, well, we had to sit there. And then, couldn't smudge the table. That was a big thing. The table had to be perfect the entire time. They're all around the conference table.
You go down.
And we just have to wait for him to say something nifty enough to use in the show.
You go down
to 12 hours.
You go down to the car lot. You go down there to buy a car. And that dude, he tells you this, he tells you that. You go in there, you pay like a bunch more money. You pay the price to buy that car. And you drive it down the road, and just after the little 90-day warranty runs out, your car, the engine blows up. And now you're just sitting there with a piece of shit, but it's too late, man, because you already bought the car. It's too late. So now you thought you had yourself a nice ride. You're going to be rolling down the street, but now you're sitting there homeless, cooking ramen, you know, on a rocket stove.
Jimmy.
Under the overpass in the freedom zone. All right, listen.
Jimmy.
Hang on. We're going to the break. Stay there. Stay there. We're going to the break.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
We'll be right back. We're going to be right back.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio.
Are you interested in the paranormal, murder mystery, real natural law? Do you enjoy interviews with amazing guests? Then join Crypt Rick every Monday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Revolution Radio. Studio A, freedomslips.com. Crypt Rick's High Thinking. Welcome to the Crypt.
It is no secret that the so-called mainstream media is best described as controlled propaganda. Countless news stories are either totally ignored or spun with half-truths, and because of this, essential facts and vital information are often compromised. Join Dr. Ott every Friday night on Studio B at 10 p.m. Eastern and learn why The Story Behind the Story was nominated for a Peabody Award in its second year of producing unparalleled broadcasting excellence in 1997. That is, if you really care about learning the truth.
If you're sick of the lies and ready to know thyself, to love thyself, well then tune in to the Loveolution with your hosts, Amy and John Paul, where we speak all about truth, love, and freedom every Tuesday night, 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Studio A, right here on Revolution Radio. And remember, only you can free your mind control. Be a Loveolutionary.
Interrupt your normally scheduled programming to bring you this important broadcasting announcement.
Now is the time to explore your greatest potential, embracing truth, health, and wellness while discarding the system and exposing its corruption. Experience true freedom every Saturday night between 6 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live from Studio B, it's the Jonathan Wright Show.
Find it right here at revolution.radio.
We're an anarcho-syndicalist commune. We take it in turns to act as a sort of executive officer for the week. Yes. But all the decisions of that officer have to be ratified at a special bi-weekly meeting. Yes, I see. By a simple majority in the case of purely internal affairs. Be quiet. But by a 2/3 majority in the case of more... Be quiet. I order you to be quiet. Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look! Just a flesh wound.
I don't believe I've seen such a display of courage, skill, nerve, grace, and stupidity.
I'll do you for that. Oh, what? Come here. What are you going to do, bleed on me? I'm invincible. You're a loony. The Black Knight always triumphs.
Roundtable Live, Monday through Friday, 1 a.m. till 4 a.m. Eastern Time. Bring your mind, bring your ideas, bring your voice. King Arthur had nothing on us here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. All right. Thanks for listening while we took that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And now we're going to get back to your host.
Friday night, hour number 3, 718-618-9905 is the number to call. My name's Jimmy. It's in the microcosm.
Not listening to advice and deciding in your youth on the policy of truth.
As the 21st century began, human evolution was at a turning point. Natural selection, the process by which the strongest, the smartest, the fastest reproduced in greater numbers than the rest, a process which had once favored the noblest traits of man, now began to favor different traits. Most science fiction of the day predicted a future that was more civilized and more intelligent. But as time went on, things seemed to be heading in the opposite direction, a dumbing down. How did this happen? Evolution does not necessarily reward intelligence. With no natural predators to conquer, it began to
Seven 618-9905 is the number to call. Nation's joined us, and I want to say, I think we have a caller, but I just want to say it right there. I'm listening to this, and you guys don't know how loud my headphones, but I can tell you they're super loud. And I just heard in that music that there is a siren rocking Rio, like an emergency siren is going on in there in the background. I can hear it on a low track.
Oh, yeah.
Like an emergency siren, but I never noticed it before. And I don't think I would have noticed it if I was just listening to it on, in my car or on the radio or something. All right, listen. You know, the problem is that a lot of times when I play these songs, I really like them, you know, so much that it's hard for me to turn it off. Especially this song, I wait for this part coming up right here. This All right, enough is enough. I know, that's what my grandma used to say. So we've enjoyed Polynation. Are you there?
Yo.
Hey, what's happening? I'm glad you're here, man. Now, so you were saying something. Now, you wanted to bring something up. Please, join us and continue. Polynation, you can find them on Ground Zero Plus every weekend. Did you hear that drum riff? Hold on.
You know Stuart Copeland's dad used to work with CIA, right?
Yeah. Did you know that Martin Taylor, he said his mate played with Sting a few weeks ago, and some ex-Bowie band members.
Did you know
I just have to say, me and Stuart Copeland share a girlfriend. Just have to say.
Oh, did you know that Sting can have a 4-hour orgasm?
Yeah, it's called tantric. What? It's called tantric sex.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
called playing bass guitar.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess so.
I call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Anywho,
so yeah, I want to go back to like sort of the beginning where you guys were talking about the population and China specifically.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have 3 questions about human population. Who's counting? How are they doing it? And who is asking them to count? Who is that? Like, who is getting this information? Because there's this thing in like the art of war where you're supposed to appear strong when you're weak and weak when you're strong. And so how is it not possible that China's just lied about their population since the beginning?
I would say
They've never
it's
had
entirely
that
possible.
many people.
Well, yeah, because Mao Zedong killed a bunch of his own people, right? And you know, dissidents and such, actually educated people who could mount some kind of resistance to him. He limited all those people. So why is it not possible? And I think you might be onto something there, that the numbers are completely conflated, right? And, yeah, why not?
Well,
yeah. What is
it makes me want to ask the question, like, what kind of numbers are people being fed in China? Like, is our population way bigger than what it is to them?
Maybe they outflowed a bunch of people like directly into the country over here. Just got rid of them completely.
No, here's just a simple question. How do you count people?
Well, through census, right? Going back to Roman times, going back to
I don't fill
Christ.
out a census.
Yeah, but I mean, in the case of China, how can we confirm it? Is your point, I think, right? How can we confirm that census?
There's actuaries,
I'm talking about just
they already know.
How do you count people? Are you just basing that on a mathematical formula where, okay, you're going to assume 2 people are born, they're going to have at least one kid, and that's because if that's the case, it's not happening now.
No, I'm telling you right now, there's actuaries for people like you who don't fill out the paperwork. So they make projections. So just like when you call the senator and complain about some shit, one phone call equals 10,000 people that didn't have the balls to call. So the thing is that even though
my landlord's not a senator.
Well, so the thing is you don't know. See, the thing is, even though you didn't fill out no paperwork on the issue, your landlord could have filled out paperwork and said, how many tenants do you have? Looks like we're getting calls. Cack's calling in. Hold on. Let me get Cack in the door. There goes Cack. He's here. All right. So listen, I agree with you on that. I do agree with you on, who's counting. But realistically, you got to look around yourself and see how many people are around you. And so where I live, I know after the Michelle Pfeiffer incident, there was way less people. And there's still way less people. The tropic is not the same as it used to be ever. It's way different. And so I'm seeing videos in China where there's no people in areas where you would see before, you would just see, thousands of people crossing the street, to get to the other side, with a quickness or whatever. Now you see nobody. But the thing is it could be the same thing you're saying. It could be something to where they're showing these empty cities to make people think there's nobody there, but really there is people there. There's millions.
It also could be this too, because remember there was this thing during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident where they were suggesting that they could actually program it to target certain races.
Well,
so maybe they did have the population, but now they don't.
Yeah, that's a good assessment of the situation, because there very well could have been different things going on in different parts of the world, to where certain parts of the world looked a certain way, but in other parts of the world there was different things that were being used to Michelle Pfeiffer someone. All right, listen, Rio, do we got callers?
Yeah, and this one's just going to get blocked because he's...
What's his issue?
He calls, I add him to the call, he hangs up and then calls back. This is like 6 calls now, 7 calls. 7 or 7, 8. Either stay on the line or don't call back.
Yeah, or maybe wait, like when you click the mouse button, wait for something to happen before you keep clicking the mouse button.
Oh, come on. Really? All right.
Are you here? Are you there? Caller.
You guys hear me?
Who's this?
We hear you. We hear somebody.
That's Mr. Phoenix.
Who's calling?
Hotness, they're all the rage.
Yeah, well, it's Cac, Paul, and Simon.
Oh, hey, Simon. How was the steak? Good?
Yeah. Just, mate, I bought it. So went to the butcher's, got some beers. Yeah, took my time. Now I'm walking back in nice Aussie sunshine. So, yeah, yet to be had.
Yeah,
Bend in Melbourne, it's like Portland, Oregon, for people who don't know.
Is it?
It is very much Portland. Yeah.
I've not been to Portland, but
it is. It's exactly like Portland.
Yeah, it's an absolutely awesome day. It's probably the last warm days before winter, to be honest. It's a good
yeah, you guys reversed us. Yep.
We enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're happy that you're including us in your last warm day before the.
No worries. Happy to.
Listen, CAC. We've been joined by CAC. So CAC, what do you think about this here now? You got your positive ID on you? You got your new North American Union passport and your Ameros on your cold wallet?
Yeah, I don't have a cold wallet, but I got a hot wallet, and I just got my new Arizona driver's license, so I had to turn in my real California ID. But I do have my passport card and booklet passport, so I think I'm all ready to go.
Now, I mean, in the future, you remember during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident, there was this federal buy of these bulletproof kiosks that you put in the street where you could check IDs, and there was this whole thing going on where they were building these military installations next to these off ramps of these, coming into California from Nevada. Did you see any of that? Do you remember when that was happening during the Michelle Pfeiffer incident? Because I mean, it's interesting just simply because at some point there was a concept where someone's going to be standing in a little bulletproof booth while you drive up and show them your North American Union passport. Go ahead.
Yeah, right. No, didn't see that. I was working during the Pfeiffer incident, so I was on the road, but I didn't cross state lines. I stayed in Cali, so I didn't see any of the North American stormtroopers checking IDs.
No, it was interesting. So there was a a whole military installation that popped up next to this off ramp, and then you could see the guy was watching surveyors, looking like they were going to build a road to force traffic onto this military site, and it was interesting, But I mean, it's in the middle of the incident or whatever. It's just one of those little things that happen that you never hear about.
Well, there was a couple things where there were homeless people displaced from Los Osos, which is a town, in the central coast of California near Morro Bay, and they want to stick them out there at Camp Roberts and make it into a homeless camp out there.
Really?
So,
I was doing this during the Iraq War. I got introduced to somebody who invented this technology that could create this bubble where it would make it so that an IED wouldn't work. So there, RF signals wouldn't be able to penetrate this little bubble that this thing would create. And so I was going to go out.
Electronic warfare.
Yeah.
Top shot.
So I was going to go out and test this system with this dude out at Camp Roberts because I had a spectrum analyzer at the time. And so I was going out to test, and we went out there to test this, and the government showed up and had a conversation with the dude and literally took his technology away from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably got some readings or something.
No, they took it away for government.
They took it away
for government use.
So
no, they
FAA,
made it so he
is that
couldn't.
what they call it? That
Yeah.
mob?
Mm.
Or FCC.
Yeah, the FCC. No, this wasn't the FCC. This was like these were like dudes in black coming up in black vehicles with a folder, to move the guy off. I'll just say this guy drove Ferraris that had no license plates on them. The guy that invented this thing. This was a serious person. Anyways, 718-618-9905 is the number to call. Simon's here, Cax here, Poly Nation's here, Rockin' Rio's here, Epic Journeyman's here. Hey, all you guys are here. You know what, man? Little Jimmy hobble my ass into the kitchen and get myself a cup of coffee. Somebody jump in here, Rockin' Rio. Yeah.
Hey,
You may pass.
I gotta ask
Everybody
Hack a question, just out of respect. Do you mind if I use the term hot wallet on my dating profile from now on?
There you go.
Hot wallet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's some positive. That's some positive baggage right there. I think,
there, that's a hot wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I don't like about cold storage wallets, that technology, and I did actually buy like a Trezor, stuff like that. Is these things have little back doors built into them, and it got leaked out that Trezor and Ledger, those are both two cold wallets that have been out on the market for a few years. I know this is boring crypto stuff, but they were sharing like information of their customers.
I'm swiping right on cold wallets, man.
So
screw that.
This whole thing's a snow crash, right? It is. A snow crash earlier, and that's right. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like everything is tracked entirely from start to finish, the entire time.
It's been like this for ages.
Well, it might have been, but I'm just saying, like the idea was cultivated by these people who saw that as a good thing.
Cypherpunks.
I mean, why are we accepting this? I don't understand why. Like, why we're letting Peter Thiel and Elon Musk go ahead and make this reality of your childhood dream, right? Where they could be the oligarchs, running those fiefdoms, right? I mean, because that's what they're trying to do. You destroy the infrastructure of government and then take it over and parcel it out, right?
Well, asking why we accepted it isn't really addressing the problem, or coming up with any solution, because everybody has accepted it, and there's a way to use it. If we know how it works, the more we know how it works, the more we can manipulate it to our advantage.
Information is power.
In anything. I mean, don't worry about the control. Just worry about how it works. Don't worry about controlling it yet until you learn how it works. and then you
Go
can.
ahead, Simon. Simon wants to chime in.
Yeah, I'm just sort of saying I completely agree. And with that knowledge, that dog's gone nuts again. Fuck.
We heard the Melbourne
I'm just gonna walk up the street. I'm just gonna walk up the street. I literally just came into the driveway, put my beers down.
Cheers, Simon.
I'll
sort of take back some of that perceived loss of, freedom, whatever you want to call it, agency, etc. Through knowing this stuff, it's really empowering, right? And yeah, sure, it's tricky, but you've got to start somewhere. There's interesting guides out there. Things like, I think one's called the Hitchhiker's Guide to Internet Privacy or something to that effect. And it goes through some basic sort of, ways in which, how IP addresses work. How does the phone system work? What's it really with having a untrackable phone? What's a burner phone really? Et cetera, et cetera. And just through knowing some of this stuff, it's helpful. Not so much that you've got anything to hide, but just to make it more difficult for them, right?
Totally.
Simon, you got a lot of.
It's like a crypto hygiene. Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Simon, you got a lot of wind noise going there.
It definitely tell your lifetime walking through Melbourne.
Shit.
It's all good.
All right,
though.
I'll speak to that.
It's atmosphere.
And
And
we've been joined by the hijacker as well.
Okay, well, let me just say, like we're talking about this whole thing. When we're monitored that way, right? Like we sign these terms and conditions in everything we do, right? Terms and conditions may apply. And we authorize these people to monitor us. And anytime we turn on location data or whatever, it's all shared with these people. We don't even think about it because it's all there, right? It's all something we agreed to as part of getting a free whatever, right? Along the way. And the thing is that even at some point, and this is becoming more and more apparent, it doesn't matter if you agreed or not. It's just there. Like we all always suspected it, but now they're like flaunting it. When I say they, I mean the people that do it are flaunting it. Like they're saying, "Well, yeah, we can do this."
It's data mining, and they are so lawyered up that the little guy can't do anything, and they can go ahead and just take over the whole market. It's kind of like the gig economy, tell a gypsy cab that they can't work, and then all of a sudden Uber comes along, and they really can't work now because Uber's underbid them. So a new slavery class.
We had that problem. Uber drivers were taking money from cab drivers in Toronto, and there was a huge protest. And guess what happened? Absolutely nothing.
It's all in Snow Crash, man. It is. I can't believe this novel really predicted this so well. And did it predict it? I really have to look into Neil Stephenson and see, did he predict it or was he tied in? Because it's so well done. It's so on point with what's going on right now that you almost have to wonder, if this was all the, not only obviously things like this are planned ahead of time, but you have to wonder, was it not just the plan was in place, but the propaganda vessel, if you will, to make other people, see it and accept it more just by being exposed to it through this novel was in place, right?
It seems like it's getting more obvious too, right?
Yeah.
It's right in your face now. They don't even want to hide it.
No, it's a victory lap, right? It's a victory lap. That's what it is.
Yeah, you got the AI fingerprint too.
Play that, Joker.
Go, Jacker.
Yeah. So I'm taking a look at the constellation, and I'm just lining up all these data points. Here they are. Captain Alston Fitz basically saying that they're going to basically privatize the whole federal government with these oligarchs, get rid of all these civil servants. And then you got the AI evolution that you guys were talking about taking over. Then on top of that, you've got, this is the last point, right before our empire basically goes down, our dollar goes down. This is like another data point. This is probably the last point that our Blue Water Navy I'm not talking about the subs. I'm talking about the surface ships. Basically become obsolete because of the next evolution of warfare and of weapons. Yeah, and this is like the last chance to basically try to kneecap and cripple China's economy to knock them back on the plate. Probably the last chance to really put a hurting on Iran. Of course, Iran's so powerful now that they may be able to just with conventional missiles devastate Israel. So all the data points are there. And now with these tariffs, this is these guys have literally robbed 335 million people with a massive tax just before they lock down the government and they go to martial law. Look at all the different people in place. What was that one person? Larry somebody. He goes, they're setting up a coup. He's the one judging Napolitano. He says, look at all these different people they're putting in place. They're going the long haul. Not only Trump's term, but a full 8 years advance. They're setting this whole thing up. And so you're just taking a look, and you're realizing, they're probably going to use Trump up for this war, crash the economy, and then by midterms, right after midterms, he's going to walk away, say he's got cancer or whatever. Vance takes over, which means he still can run for the next two terms. So you just take a look at all these data points, and I think this is it, you guys. I think this is it. I think they're going to World War III, and then China. You take a look at the Chinese and their economy. Did you hear about the massive layoffs in China now?
Yeah. No. Yeah, the massive layoffs because missing people. Go ahead.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking lease. I'm talking about factory after factory all put notices. Immediately to their employees. We're going to defer you for like 10 days, or just wait for 2 weeks. We're going to defer you. Whole factories. Well, no, it's going to be closer to a month, but just stay put. And then how long is it going to take? And then Xi Jinping, he's in political trouble, and they've got something going there. So his only card is to find a demon, the United States or whatever, declare war, distract the Chinese people. So that's what I'm saying. This looks like it's all going down.
Well,
every single data point. Go ahead.
There's in some areas I'll have to agree with you, and I say also that if that's going to happen, the order will be the economy crashing and then war, because war then will bolster the economy, right? So the new economy.
Well, can I chime in here for a second?
Yeah, go, man.
So the whole laying off the factories, okay, eventually it's going to get to the point where you don't have to lay off factories. You just turn them off because there's no humans working in the factories. What if, who's to know whether China's not already there? They don't lay off workers. They turn off robots.
Right, that's what I was saying earlier.
I think that's right.
That's what I'm saying earlier is that China is firing their population, and they don't.
They don't have that many people.
They don't want to. They don't want to sit there and pay a bunch of people to sit around.
Yeah, I'm calling their bluff, man.
They're minus zero in their population growth, right? They're going to go extinct at the rate they're going. I mean, if you look at it as just a strictly, a microcosm, no pun intended.
They were the ones in the 90s.
They can't.
It's the one-child policy. They were the ones in the 90s
that implemented law. You could only have one child.
Yeah, one-child policy, and it's backfired on them, and now they have no way to recover. And so they are. But if you look at robotics, taking over the position of the people, it had over 1 billion people, right? And now all of a sudden they don't. And why is that? Is it because they died off, or is it because it just let them go someplace else or aided them that way?
Well, if you can replace the textile workers with big fat Americans, then you can probably replace them with big fat robots as well.
Yeah, for $30,000, when they break down, just throw them away.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's the
in China. There's still some old line factories because the labor is so cheap. I mean, you can hire a Chinaman for like a fifth of what you could pay an American. So, I mean,
you don't mean that.
Now Japan,
when you say
got robotics in Japan, yeah, Japan's really heavy, and South Korea, heavy robotics for sure.
When you say Chinaman, you don't mean that in a racist way, though, right? Because I think that's a negative term if you're Chinese to call somebody a Chinaman.
No, I didn't mean Chinaman. I meant Gook.
Yeah.
Soon there's going to be racist robots.
That makes the situation better. No, but robots. I'm a robot technician. I am a certified ABB robot technician. I work on robots, right? Or used to. I don't anymore.
Do you prefer Chinese robots?
Here's the issue with robots, right? Is that robots they do what you program to do and nothing else. But that means if you're in the way, they'll kill you because they're going to do what they're going to do what they're going to do. Program, right? So, is it coming in? I'm just saying, like, we're not programmed to kill necessarily. That's what I'm saying. But let's take over in a industrialized nation.
718.
Go place for the people.
618-9905 is the number to call. I'm back in the chair. Man, I avoided those jobs like the plague. Those jobs they were showing earlier. I'd never do that in my life. No way, man. There's no way Generation Z is doing them jobs, man. No way. They ain't doing those jobs, tell you right now.
Well,
They would whine too much.
Well, it's not just that. It's just like, why would you sit there in front of a sewing machine? I mean, literally. I mean, the thing about that Chinese video with the fat guys sitting at the sewing machine is that the very union concept in America was actually catapulted into existence because of the seamstresses who were killed in, I believe, Chicago when the doors were barred and they're chained to their desks, right? And they couldn't escape the fire. Right, that's what instigated the very union movement that makes America what is today with the 8-hour workday. Exactly that. So
we already have machines that do that anyways without robotics.
Yeah, so you parody that, right? What are you really saying? You're making a parody of the American 8-hour day. In other words, we don't do that here. You guys are fools, right? I mean that's what it's doing. There's dynamics to it that aren't necessarily seen by the initial view. It's not just that we're all fat Americans. It's that fat Americans let this happen, right? And we don't do that because we don't care about our people, essentially.
It's the part where the dude is jamming the French fries.
The hamburger. What was he eating? What was
yeah, and the other guy that's working on the Tesla factory floor with the screwdriver. And there's a bunch of French fries on the floor that have been smashed by the guy stepping on it because he was shoving.
Yeah.
How do you work up a sweat when you're sitting down just moving fabric through a needle thing? Like,
oh,
it's
dude,
not
man,
hard work.
It is hard work. That's hard work, man.
Well, it's monotonous work. That makes it hard work, right? Because it's soul destroying work is what it is. It takes the art out of it, right? No. I mean, maybe in some ways. The gifted can be artistic because there's that monotony.
You guys know where I work, right?
Say that you know what they're gonna say is you haven't been at your machine long enough. It says here, I'm looking at the report here, Epic Journeyman. You stepped away from your machine for 7 minutes beyond your away time, and we're gonna have to dock your crypto wallet. Okay, go ahead, Polynation.
So I work for Amazon, and it's kind of like it's hard work. It's physical work. I'm moving stuff all the time for like 10 hours a day on my feet. I make like 60,000 steps in a day. I don't think robots are going to be able to do that very soon, but it's getting close.
Well, have you seen
And
the new?
so-
Have you seen the new Kawasaki hydrogen-powered horse?
No, but if it's hydrogen powered,
I swear to God, go over there right now and type it into Google. Type in
Oh, it's
Kawasaki.
freaking badass. It is. Everybody's gonna want one. But no, pollination. What I'll say about your Amazon thing is that like so we had at General Atomics when I worked there, we started doing the Lean Six Sigma. As soon as you hear Lean Six Sigma, you know robots are on their way, and that's what that means. Lean Six Sigma is a Japanese term, a protocol for automation. And what it means is when you're involved, they give you belts like karate, black belt, green belt, whatever along the way, and all it is training the robots to replace you. That's what it means, right? And so when you in a factory setting, it's optimizing steps it takes. We talked about steps you take in a day to get to that particular shelf, to get that particular item off the shelf, and then how many steps it takes to lift up the forklift and get it and bring it down and take it to pallet and send it off on the shipping.
You're
container.
spot on, man. They already do that. They're already tracking how many steps it takes me to put a package inside of a bag and then walk back and get another package and put it inside of another bag, and then they're already tracking all of that. They've been doing that since the 90s.
Yeah, and so it's the end goal of it. So like you start off as just like karate, right? You start off green belt or whatever, and you get your way up. I don't know karate that well, but if you get your way to black belt, it means the ultimate replacement of human labor for automation, right? That's what it is,
right?
And so once you have that, go ahead, Edger.
The CEO of Amazon, they came on because they asked his business model. Have you seen where the Amazon vendors all come from? I'm talking about the vast majority. It's this Swinjin province. It's like way off the charts when you take a look at the bar graph. Then it's like the United States, which is close to basically Seoul, South Korea. And then I forgot what other countries, and then it's lower than that. And those are where all the vendors are. I mean, Amazon is going to take a massive hit. It's like 65% of their stuff comes from China.
More than that. More than that.
Yeah,
way more than that.
More than that.
Listen to this. Listen to this. China has just halted all liquefied natural gas imports from the United States. This leaves tankers in limbo with billions of dollars of contracts. China will now go with Australia for all of their natural gas needs. Australia inking new deals throughout Asia and may soon turn Europe and cut American gas out of the picture entirely. Trump has turned Australia from ally into competitor. U.S. crippled as Australia seizes $1.5 billion in trade overnight.
Yeah, well, they're trying to get off the dollar. You know, they're going for the BRICS, BRICS, and that's going up to about 20 nations now that are signed on to that, and they're going to make the Belt and Road, the new Silk Road, and they're going to have all these contracts for energy and supply chains.
I'm telling you, they're going to hit Iran, and then once we hit Iran, China's going to hit Taiwan, world war, great economic depression, and since we're the 800-pound guy on the boat, and China's pretty big, they're 400 or 500 pounds, but we can take a lot more pain and lose a lot more weight until the Chinamen or the Chinese are basically back down to 120 pounds, starving.
You're right, though. You're right. No, we are going to war with Iran, absolutely, and we are going to go to war with China. That's right. That's because the war with China is probably short-lived. But the thing is, it's about the three. It's a global technates, right? And so that's what this is all about. China gets to keep Asia, America gets to keep the Americas, and Russia gets to keep Europe. That's it. That's what this is. And Africa gets to be oligarch land, just like Rhodesia used to be for and Cecil Rhodes, right? Oligarchs, their play place, right? And all those people that suffer like they have for thousands of years. But that's the goal. That's where we're heading, and it's all there in Snow Crash. It's all Snow Crash. It is. Right.
Well, I'll say this as somebody who works in the belly of the beast. Business has not slowed down. Tariffs has not affected anything at all. People are still spending money like it's growing on trees on useless crap from China.
But the thing is they can right now, and so there's existing inventory. Are your shelves remaining full?
We don't have shelves. We just deal with where the shelves come from. And that's, I think, more of an accurate estimation of how much consumerism is going through Amazon.
Mm-hmm. But wouldn't you say, so the thing is one thing to point out is that, smart business people, when they hear there's going to be tariffs, what they do is they order a bunch of shit ahead of time to beat the tariffs. And so the thing is what you would see is a higher amount of buying in this
But I haven't seen that.
In this period of time leading up to when the tariffs are actually going to hit. And then so I've seen the Walmart operation say that they will make China eat the tariffs. But here's what no one seems to get is do you know how much money, how much bond exposure there is from China, how much China owns of U.S. bonds? If China
I heard they were selling them all off.
If they sold it off,
$750 billion.
Yeah, well, if they sold that all off in one time, it would do severe damage to the American economy.
They've been selling it off for the last 3 years.
No, I don't mean just like they have been for the last 3 years. I'm talking about all at once and right now. Fuck you, is what I'm saying.
Oh, they're getting to
that's
that.
what I mean. It's on. And as far as the tariffs only count when the tariffs were actually enforced about a week ago, and they came into effect like midnight. Let's say it was midnight last Monday or whatever. That means that every piece of product that was made in China after that, that actually got made, those are what the tariffs are on. So the inventory and the material of when the tariffs hit versus what you're packing now in Amazon, they're not even halfway across the ocean yet.
Let me ask you this question. Why is selling into America more important than just bypassing America all together and selling to the rest of the world? And just say, you know what, F you, man, I'm not going to sell my shit in your country. I don't care. Because, you're trying to... the idea that the marketplace in Europe is not as big or, as much money to be made as it is in America. And if you focused everything, if China just said, you know what, I'm not sending anything to America anymore. Because that's what they're doing. They're just going and cutting deals over in Europe. They're saying, you know what, check this out. We're going to lower our tariffs for you. We're going to make shit.
Well, there was a Chinese guy that actually addressed it. And he was telling the Chinese government, look, swallow your pride, take the tariff hit. We already get 5 times more money from the United States. No hassles, no bribes. What are we supposed to sell it to India? It takes forever for those Indian companies to pass. Or if we go to Taiwan or Vietnam or any other place, all the crimes and all the corruption and the bribes that you got to pay. And then sometimes they stiff you on, you send them inventory. He goes, America's great. They believe in law. They don't take bribes. They pay up front. They pay top dollar. And so this Chinese guy, he was making an argument saying, look, let's take this hit. It's not that bad. But for whatever reason, it could be that... Go ahead.
It's just one of the things. You see when Biden was in office, friendly towards China. When you see and Russia was the enemy, and you see Trump steps in, China's the enemy and Russia is his buddy. It's into the microcosm 718-618. 9905 is the number to call. And we appreciate every single one of you for listening. And, it's been a nice Friday night here with everybody. Don't forget, Revolution Radio is fully listener supported, so come on down and support it. Now, Hijacker, are you going to hijack the space after Into the Microcosm tonight on Studio A?
No, I only called in on your shows because I'm connecting by all the data points, and I figure, well, maybe I ought to say something that we are actually on the precipice of this war.
We are.
So no.
We are on the precipice of war, but the real reason behind the war is the issue. Right.
Can I ask a question to Hijacker real quick? You mentioned data points. Are you familiar with Cliff High and how he does forecasting with his linguistics and NLP?
Oh, and his web bot and all the rest. Yeah, I catch Cliff High every now and then. Sometimes he's so esoteric, that he kind of leaves me in the dust. But I tag his base once in a while, sure.
Yeah, I mean, he predicted the Java tidal wave thing, but I mean, we've done a couple shows about the time wave zero, and I don't know if you're familiar with time wave zero.
Yeah, a couple on this.
But CAC, I don't know if you know about time wave zero, but time wave zero was a project that happened, and leading up into a certain date, there was a lot of projections being made by the web bots or whatever. But this is
right.
before.
Well, his other big thing is now is that, and I mentioned this, I don't know, last time I actually did a show, is that there's a great pandemic, a virus that's affecting the whole world, and that's called knowledge. That's called everybody's waking up. And Cliff High basically saying the whole world now is waking up to all these, homo, whatever, globalist, ... put your thing in there. And he goes, it's going to get to the point once this economic collapse does hit. Cliff talks about, then we can start, bang, bang some of those bastards, get those mayors. I mean, he's believing.
Yeah.
My son says he's mad because he lost a loved one to Michelle, the Viper thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what made him so angry.
Well, we're going to run out of time for me to talk about mimesis, I guess, but
We're not going to run out. We're not going to run out of time. We still got 20 minutes left.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Well, jump in here, everybody. Thanks for calling. Let's Epic. Go ahead.
So mimesis, we talk about mimetic engineering all the time, and rightfully so. I mean, something we've really brought to light in the alternative media. I think people should pay attention to.
Yeah.
So it's real. But mimesis is this idea in philosophy of triangular logic. There's different ways of thinking about it. Like you go back to Plato, but there's this philosopher named René Girard, who's a French philosopher, and he was at Stanford at the time that Peter Thiel was there, and Peter Thiel hooked up with him. And Peter Thiel is gay, so I don't mean it the way maybe it sounds. I don't have any clue into that. But what I do know is that this is somebody he admired and met, right? And so René Girard is the modern advocate for this theory or this philosophy. And so the idea of mimesis is it's M-I-M-E. Like we talk about mimetics, M-E-M-E, which is from Richard Dawkins in Selfish Gene from 1976. But we coined the term meme, right? But just like the word implies, M-I-M-E, the root word, even though it's mimesis, it means mime. It means to copy. It means to copy something. And the philosophy behind this means that, and it's really interesting when you think about it in the abstract, what it means is that nobody actually knows what they want to do. They mime people they respect, right? They mime people that they want to be like. Mimesis, right? They mime them. They don't know the philosophy behind it. They don't know the worldview. They just mime the attributes of people that they want to be like. And so mimesis is this triangular logic where, in the Girard view, which is where Peter Thiel adhered to and advocates to this day and is trying to exploit is this idea that triangular logic in the sense means that two people could be at totally opposite ends, right? But agree on a scapegoat, right? So in other words, they mime the things they want to achieve. So the idea is you want to achieve this particular goal economically, sociologically, politically, whatever. And there has to be a bad guy who's a scapegoat. So triangular logic dictates that you will both join, even though you're adversaries, right? You're adversarial, by making this one particular entity be the scapegoat, be the bad guy, and then you will join and absolve and make peace by sacrificing the scapegoat. And that's the Girard view, right? And if you think about it, that is exactly what the Nazis did. Exactly, right? Right? It's exactly what they did. They made the Jews the bad guys, right? The scapegoat. They met in the, adversarial political views came to focus on, we may be so different, but those guys are the bad guys, right? And that's exactly what's happened with immigrants and whatever today in America. It's exactly what it is. And Peter Thiel is an adherent to this philosophy of Girard. So when you look at it this way, it makes perfect sense. And who is Peter Thiel? Other than the advocate of all these, he owns Palantir and he co-founded PayPal with Elon Musk. But he's also this guy who's politically involved with, the very things that go on in politics, American politics today, like because he has the backdoor in, because he donated so much money, right? He's right there. He's right there, just like Elon Musk. It's no coincidence that Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, the guys who I can't prove played D&D together, but it certainly lines up in South Africa when they were kids, and now, or here in America, and they went to Stanford together. Then must been 2 days. My philosophy on this has always been they were shown the artificial intelligence lab, and along with Sergey Brin and Larry Page, those guys, and they graduated beyond graduating, right? They went to start their companies. In other words, this is what we have. You guys do what you can do, right? That's what it's all about, right? They never went, but Peter Thiel actually went through the whole program. He had his master's and PhD, he didn't get a PhD, his master's at Stanford, went to law school. So the point being, this memetics or mimesis philosophy is the thing that they all share, right? This idea of triangulating to where the opposites will agree to fight the third scapegoat, right?
Yeah.
There has to be a scapegoat.
The uniparty.
It's totally there in the politics.
The uniparty of America. Land of the free, home of the slave. Step right up and get your $16.50 an hour and build iPhones from the comfort and privacy of your own home. 718-618-9905 is the number to call.
The dark of the sky, the light of the moon, the solitary figure will be home very soon. He has braved the storms of time, his life is on the line. He's been praying to a savior, please take me away from here. The man in the ship.
This is Davey Pattison with Ronnie Montrose and Gamma from the Gamma 2 LP. So, want to remind you, tomorrow night, Saturday night, 8 o'clock Pacific, we'll be live on Ground Zero Plus and right here on In the Microcosm with Jimmy Gina on YouTube. We'll be chilling it. Cold chilling. 33 degrees of cold chilling. All right, listen, 718-618-9905. You got about 3 minutes if you want to call in. CAC, Poly Nation. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you, Simon. Right on. Thanks for being here. All right. You know what? It's been a while since I heard this song right here. All right. Hey, listen. We'll see you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Pacific. Thanks for joining us. You guys want to say goodnight? Anybody?
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
I'll say stay bright and tune in tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, sign off. Nice, Jimmy. Thank you, everybody.
All right, take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Night, everybody.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night.